Hello and welcome to the November 2011 chapter chat on how to conduct effective meetings. Whether you're having a meeting for 4 or 104, one of the most important ways to communicate with members is to actually come together. This can be empowering, boost morale, and develop skills and leadership. My name is Kim Ellison and I work at the DMA Chapter Relations Department. For today's meeting, we'll basically be breaking down meetings into before, during, and after, and we'll finish up with resources available to you. First, you need to, of course, spend time preparing. Whether it's an educational or a business meeting you're prepping for, consider the following steps. First, the purpose. Identify why you want to come together and the desired outcome of the meeting. Is the meeting even necessary? Next, decide who you want to come to the meeting. Invite all relevant groups of people, whether it be CDMs, consultant dietitians, dietechs, vendors, legislators, whoever you think can contribute to the meeting. And make sure you communicate the purpose we discussed earlier so that everybody can come prepared and make their additions to the meeting. Once you've decided why you're coming together and who is coming together, lay out the plan. A venue is a top priority unless you decide to go through a webinar system like we're doing now or a conference call. Provide an agenda and handouts at least 24 hours ahead of time, more if you can, so that everybody can come prepared. But you can also post these documents on the chapter website or send them through email. Wherever you decide to conduct the meeting, ensure comfort, quietness, and setup of the space before beginning. Now that you're at the meeting, decide on the agenda. Include items that need to be discussed, which person needs to lead that part of the discussion. Ensure a time frame that is reasonable and realistic for those items, and include breaks so that everybody has expectations for the get-together. And for the timeline, have a timekeeper who is separate from the meeting leader. Start and end on time regardless of late attendees. This shows respect for everybody who took time out to attend the meeting. On the other hand, you might want to allow a little flexibility when the need arises, but make your best judgment when you think a delay is needed. So that everybody's on the same page, lay out ground rules. Request that pagers and cell phones be turned off, or that electronic communication, if they can't turn off their cell phones, be returned outside the room. Emailing and texting back on your phone can be distracting to other meeting attendees and the speakers. And to stay on track, to stay on subject, it's also beneficial that everybody is familiar with the parliamentary procedures. We have a simplified version of this on Volunteer Resources Online, which is under the member login on dmaonline.org. And I'll be showing you this a little bit later. And we're in the resources part of the presentation. When you're introducing the ground rules at the beginning of the meeting, encourage participation and feedback so that everybody can feel included. And maybe most importantly, talk about difficult topics within the team. Don't let issues linger and become a bigger issue from a distance, because email arguing does not go well. It's rarely productive. For the volunteer running the show, again, make sure expectations are clear. Open the meeting by reviewing the ground rules and the agenda. Clarify the roles within the group. Even if everybody has been there for a long time, there may be a couple newcomers or roles may have changed. Maintain focus and keep moving at a comfortable pace. Part of running a meeting is also managing the people. Near the end, summarize discussion and encourage input, even if you have to do this explicitly. Ask what they think about a certain topic or ask them a specific question to start brainstorming. Repeat who should complete which project steps and when. Again, make sure expectations are clear. Review the time and place for the next meeting. And finally, thank attendees. Everybody took the time to join, and the small gesture means a lot. To help organize future meetings, minutes are extremely important. Designate one note taker. Usually this is the secretary, but if your chapter doesn't have a secretary or he or she is not present at the meeting, designate one person to write everything down. Important records should be detailed, but certain items don't have to be as time-consuming. You don't want a book, but you also don't want a 4-point bullet list for an hour-long meeting. Highlight anything that will be deferred until the next meeting, and again, include timeframes for these action steps. You also might want to do an evaluation. This gives great feedback if somebody doesn't feel comfortable speaking out loud, or if it's a bigger meeting and you don't have time for all of the attendees to state their opinion on the speaker or the agenda. Evaluations can be paper, and this may get more response from people more immediately at the meeting, but they can also be electronic. We use surveymonkey.com, and if you use this website for under 10 questions on a survey, it is free. SurveyMonkey also automatically analyzes the results, which makes it really easy. But if you do a paper version, this would be a good way to get a new volunteer involved if you want somebody to tally all the results. So choose whichever method works best for you, and you could always do both if you think that works. And finally, for follow-up, the minutes we just talked about should be distributed within a couple weeks of the meeting. You want to keep everything relevant and fresh in the minds of everyone. Some resources for you for conducting effective meetings. There's always dmaonline.org if you're looking for content for educational meetings or relevant hot topics. And we also have volunteer resources online. This is under the member login. And I'm going to share my desktop with you to show exactly what area I'm talking about. So I'm already logged in. And once I click volunteer resources, I scroll to the bottom. We have a whole meeting section. And we also have how-tos. And this is the parliamentary procedure I was talking about earlier. It's in a Word document. There we go. This is the simplified order, or you can look online if you want different versions of this. Fellow officers also probably have great tips, and it may be a good idea for your board of directors to brainstorm your own chapter's best practice list of what works for your chapter in terms of meetings. If you like going to one district better, if you want to bring all the districts together in the center for one meeting, whatever works for you. And finally, there is us at DMA headquarters. We're always available for you. Either at our 800 number or you can email us. Before we end, I want to make a couple notes about the name change coming up. It's a little over a month now until we become the Association of Nutrition and Food Service Professionals. We've had a lot of questions lately about banners, and this is not required to redesign it, but you can if you want to. If you want to take your spring meeting photo with the banner to send to us for annual meeting, that's fine. Otherwise, you can just get a picture of the membership and attendees. Last week, I sent a letter for professional contacts, such as your bank or vendors. And if you did not receive that, because we only sent it to a few volunteer positions, please let me know at chapters@dmaonline.org if you want that template. And we will be sending the image file of the ANSP logo you see here at the top in early December. And before we go, there is no chapter chat for us in December and also no forums. If you want to start working on the January forums for the second rebate, that will go out at the end of January. These two forms are the spring meeting form and the second installment of the State Achievement Award. So you can wait until after the holidays if you want. Otherwise, you might want to start now so that you can get it out of the way. Thank you for attending, and if you have any questions, please let us know. Again, my name is Kim Ellison at GMA headquarters.